Hi, this is Nada.
And I'm Tristan. Hello.
Hi, Tristan. So I heard that you built something very cool with I've heard that you built something really cool with Airo Builder, and I'm really, really excited to see it. So why don't you walk me through what you built? How did you come up with the idea?
Yeah, certainly. So I've been using Aero Builder for a while. I've tried it with a few different test sites and experiment sites, mostly like websites and simple like small business projects. But I wanted to see if it could do more. So one thing I've been thinking about in my role is how we can create some kind of viral effects or
Mhm.
create something that gets users really interested and engaged and do something that's a little more fun. Um, and I had this idea, when I was a kid, I really loved these Tycoon games on the computer. They were some of the first games that I played. I remember playing like Dino Park Tycoon, which is actually where you run like a dinosaur zoo, or Roller Coaster Tycoon, where you kind of start a business, start a theme park, and you can, you like set your prices. Customers come and pay you. You have inventory, and then you can take that money and invest it in like building a new ride in your theme park or building a
Mm.
food stall in your theme park. And you can adjust your prices, and your customers get angry, and events come like a tornado rolls through and blows up half your park. And I always really loved playing these tycoon games because it was always really fun to me to kind of model what a small business does in their day to day. So making decisions about where to uh, like where and how to best build revenue, how to invest that to grow the business, and then that feeling that kind of clicks and turns over when your business is really successful and the cash just starts flowing in and you're able to make a lot of investments and it really feels successful. And I always really loved that as a kid. I loved getting to that state, and then I loved, when I got to that state, restarting and starting a new park from scratch. So um, I was really inspired by that, and I thought that that would be a really good fit for how can we model how can we put this in the context of a small business and take this same idea and that same kind of dopamine hit that you get from building a business that way and turn it into a fun game that we could play. And at first, I wasn't sure if App Builder was able to do it, but I actually had really like surprisingly great results from the first.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah. Yeah, I had no idea that we can build something like that. What kind of prompt did you put in the beginning? Uh, yeah, sure. Let's do that. It's okay if something is not working. I think you should sign in too before like you share the screen. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to go through all the
No
permissions
worries.
again. And then it also kicked me out of Arrow Builder. So let me get logged back in real quick.
Okay. Don't worry, I filmed like a video this morning with Dineth and it kept like his app kept crashing, like the Riverside app kept crashing.
Oh
And we did
no.
the same take like 4 times of
Oh,
like me asking him the question and he starts responding and then it crashes and then I'm asking it again. It's okay.
oh, I'm sorry. Well, it's okay. I think I got it working now. Okay, cool. We are in. All right, so if we want to pick up the recording from where we left off.
Okay.
Cool.
Let me
All
ask you
right.
the question again and then let's flow through it.
Perfect.
So I had no idea, Tristan, that we can build something like this with Airo Builder. So why don't you take me through like what was like the first prompt that you put in?
Yeah, let me just start. I'll take you directly to my builder here, my Airo Builder window where I'm actually working, where I've been working on this live, and you can see my first prompt. Now, you see it's a pretty big prompt and a pretty involved prompt.
Oh yeah.
What I actually
Mm-hmm.
did in this case was I started just a separate session in just an LLM and just started chatting about my goal and saying, help me create this prompt in the best way for a vibe coding tool, right? And so what I did was I just kind of described generally what I liked. I said I really liked these Tycoon games. I want to build a game that has similar dynamics, and I want the user to be able to select or customize their small business or their type of small business
Mm-hmm.
and have it kind of theme the game around that. So it basically said the goal, build a self-contained interactive small business tycoon game. It have a twist, so the game engine must be generic, but the skin is dynamic. And this is really important. It had and then it had the aesthetic, so it kind of matched this like early '90s Mac or like early Windows theme
Mm-hmm.
with Windows, which I thought was really great that it kind of did that and identified that out of the gate. Uh, and so this is actually where it kind of put in some really important fundamentals behind the game. So it talked about the layout, how it should work, and then the core gameplay mechanics. This was really important
Mm-hmm.
because it kind of got this core gameplay mechanic right. And then I was able to come back and kind of tweak it and adapt it from there. And then say, like this made the game a little too easy. This made the game a little too hard. Let's add in some more
Ah.
complexity, or let's add in a bit more to how it works. But this core like gameplay mechanics was really fundamental. Getting this right the first time is kind of the foundation around which I built everything else for this game.
Wow. And how many prompts did it take you to be like satisfied with it?
It was quite a few. I actually yesterday I was trying to get a quantified number and kind of like a almost like a release notes for what I'd done. And I was actually
Mm-hmm.
just able to ask Aero Builder. I said like how look back on our history, and obviously because it's an AI, it can't necessarily like look back at the history, and uh, it it doesn't work that way. It doesn't have all the history, but I was able to say, look at the build history for this, and you can actually see every iteration of the build that I
Oh.
made here in the build history. And so I instructed it to, I just lost the anchor where I was. So I instructed it to look back at the build history and say, uh, give me like basically a release notes of what I've done. And so you can see it had, I might have passed it here. Hopefully we can skip this. Okay. So I was able to instruct it to go back through the build history and give me kind of a release history. And so it said I've had 80
Mm.
total commits, and you can kind of see chronologically how I moved through this. So initial setup and core game. I did some customizations on the business selection on this kind of first page that you see. I made some changes with the core gameplay, like I added a leaderboard, an achievement system with toast notifications. I did some
Mm-hmm.
UI UX improvements, made some changes to how like the inventory works, branding and theme. So I added the purple theme to match the arrow branding here. Uh, More advanced features, some polish and refinement. And then just today or just yesterday, I did some improvement on mobile layout and on the leaderboard. So
Mm-hmm.
the leaderboard actually generates a database that will store all the high scores across different user sessions. So about 80
Wow.
total.
Wow. Like 80 total prompts. Sorry.
Yep.
Got it. I mean, I also saw that you asked it to do like some SEO optimization for you?
Yeah, I did. Let me jump back up to that. So one thing I've noticed with these is that it doesn't by default necessarily write all the SEO stuff like meta title and meta description until you get it
Mm-hmm.
up to date. So all I said was just now update site title, description, and social SEO stuff with the brand for Aero Tycoon. I didn't want it to change any of the content. It will actually change like on-page content if you want it to like if you want to have content for certain keywords or things like that. And I've seen a lot of success doing that for like a website, right? Like if there's a
Mm-hmm.
website that you want to be found on the internet, it'll actually go and update your content. You can ask it for GEO as well, so it'll put content in like question answer format, or it'll add like schema.org markup to the site, which is something that helps it show up in GEO or for LLMs. So it's actually really powerful. For this one, I just asked for a couple simple updates because I didn't want it to change too much of the site content in this case. So it updated the meta tag. So like when I open it, you can see up here in my browser, it has the meta title there in the browser, the open graph stuff. So if this is shared on Facebook or LinkedIn, when it has a preview
Mm-hmm.
URL, it'll have the full title and the game description there, Twitter card, and then keyword tags as well. So
I'm impressed. Like that's the only thing that I can say. This is amazing. Um, I'm gonna be honest with you. Growing up, I used to play Diner Dash, not Tycoon. So I'm
okay,
quite interested to see how the game works.
yeah, let's jump in. I'm gonna
Yeah.
I'm gonna start here. And what kind of business should we start? So there's some suggested starts here, or some suggested business types. There's a full drop down here, so we can really do just about any type of small
Oh,
business we want to start.
wow. Can we do a sushi bar?
Sushi bar. I love this. Yeah, and it dynamically matched all the emojis to the type of business. It was great. I didn't have to make any selections or anything like that. What about a name for the business?
Um, let's call it, I want something like funky and funny,
How
maybe.
about
Uh,
Nigiri by Nada?
ooh, okay.
All right, so let's start. So once you start, there's a quick a rundown of how it works. The principles are you buy inventory, so you got to keep your stock up. You set the price for your offering. You run marketing against it. You can buy upgrades that performance boosts for your business. But then there's also random events that can either help or hurt your business. So let's
Okay,
go ahead
there's a
and
pro tip.
yeah, that's the pro tip. So you go ahead and get started, and you can see here, uh, this is kind of your shop. So you can see that it's selling every day. You can see your money ticking up. The days tick by bit. You can see your demand and reputation here. And here's your stock. So we're almost out of stock. So I'm going to buy 10 more sushis. It has these
Hmm.
really fun little toasts along the way. So it helps you with achievements. So there's, when you hit 1 week, when you hit your first $100, oh, you can see I just got supplier gave you a bulk discount, so I had a boost in money. That's really great. So I'm actually going to use that. I'm going to buy a little bit more inventory, and I'm going to do some marketing. So if I do Yelp reviews for $30, I get higher demand and higher reputation score. So I just boosted
Hmm.
those. Uh, and so you can let's do this. Let's really juice the demand and get it up there. So Instagram ads, 15%. So once you increase your demand and reputation, you got to keep your stock going as it's going. So it's pretty dynamic and can be pretty fast moving here to keep your stock just like it is when you start a small business.
Hmm.
I'm going to bump up my pricing a little bit. I've got high demand and high reputation, so I think I should be able to do that. And then let's get our first upgrade. So I want to get a wasabi station. So that will give me a 30% sales boost. So I bought that with my 300 bucks. Now it's showing I
Hmm.
own the wasabi station, and that should help accelerate how many sales I'm getting each day. Keep my stock up. Yeah, so you can see I'm selling a couple per day. Uh oh, my reputation is dropping. Let's boost that. Let's do a happy hour deal. Sweet. And then you can actually you get discounts if you buy more stock. So there's just kind of some fun game elements.
Yeah. I think the Wasabi Station was a hit, was not a hit. Like we shouldn't have done that. I heard that there's also a leader board, if I'm not mistaken. Hmm. Wow. Yeah, that's great. I mean, I'm gonna go in and open up a business. I love that. I've never played a game like this, by the way. That's great. Oh, wow. Mm. Wow. Oh, wow. I love that. It's like just creating that ripple effect where you play, you share it with your friends and family. I mean, that's amazing. What is next for Aero Tycoon? Hmm. Love that. I mean, I hope that starting a small business is as easy as playing that game for people. But no, thank you so much, Tristan. This is like really, really interesting. Love the way that you used Aero Builder. It's very different than the normal use cases that we see, like building a site or just like a web app or something so simple. I feel like this really shows how you can take it a lot further, um, just by like prompting better or just like having new creative ideas. Hmm. Mm, that's a great tip. Yeah, I mean, every day I learn something new with Aero Builder, so thank you so, so much. That was amazing. And just I can't wait to go and play it now. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay.